Hi, it's Joe Mazumdar of Exploration Insights. I'm at the Metals Investor Forum, the May edition in Vancouver. And with me, I have the pleasure of welcoming Bruce Smith, CEO of Radius Gold. Bruce,
Thank you, Joe.
always a pleasure.
It's good to see you.
So we just finished the presentations. I talked about these new Mexican mining reforms that were passed in Mexico by the current administration. So you've been in Mexico for a while. You've talked to your lawyers and other people about your current concessions, and how do you think this impacts you?
Well, we'll have a few legal bills to pay. What I think will happen is that the most logical is that the laws will be struck down by the Supreme Court. Several of the new laws in Mexico that were proposed by AMLO, including the Armed Forces Reform Law, the energy law, there's quite a few of them have already been struck down by the Supreme Court. The new law is unconstitutional, was passed in the middle of the night with a whole lot of, not a quorum and things like that. So that's the most likely. But we don't plan on that. We plan that we should look after our properties. And really the reforms are not that bad in some part. And there's also a constitutional thing in Mexico that says you can't retroactively apply laws to change things. So you can't retroactively go back and say, we're going to do this. And so for old concessions or current concessions, the impact won't be too great. There's not much change for those who hold current concessions. If the laws go forward in future, yes, there will be a big impact on
Grassroots exploration.
Grassroots exploration will die.
Yeah.
And we've been a grassroots explorer, and we've got a lot of properties. So our current properties, I don't think will be impacted too much, but we'll just refocus our attention on some other country, United States, Canada, for our grassroots prospecting. But really, I'm not too worried about that because I'm not too much thinking about grassroots because I've acquired the property that I want and I believe now has the potential to radically change our company. So
let's talk about that because with the backdrop of the Mexican mining reforms, you did a private placement, which ended up being oversubscribed. And you brought in enough cash, which was over about $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million.
And now you're going to apply this to this new prospect that you're talking about called Tropico. So let's talk about Tropico.
So Radius hasn't done a private placement in more than 10 years. Our current shareholders are loath to accept any dilution. So we've kept the company afloat by doing a few deals, making some money. But we've just acquired this new property called Tropico. I wanted to get in and have enough resources to drill it off and see if it's going to be as good as I think it will be. So we announced a private placement. It was oversubscribed in a couple of days, filled with existing shareholders mostly. And so now we're fully funded to go after Tropico.
Okay, and so what is Tropico? Where is it?
So Tropico is it is in the Fresnillo mining district. So the Fresnillo system is the world's biggest, it's definitely the world's biggest silver system, and it is one of the biggest epithermal systems in the world. So the Fresnillo Mining Company comes out of Fresnillo. That district has produced somewhere between 3 and 4 billion ounces of silver. It is the world's oldest constantly producing mine. And we're just on the outside of it. We have a sinter and breccia pipe. Now, a sinter is a surface deposition of silica. We have worked on those for historic reasons. Simon, the founder of the company, found his first 2 mines sitting under sinters. I happen to live near one of, a great mine, Waihi in New Zealand, that was, lying underneath a sinter. Mm-hmm. And so sinters generally don't have precious metals in them. The precious metals sit 200 or 300 meters under the surface. The one that we've found is a big breccia pipe, sinter all around it. It's got gold and mercury in it. and it is within sight just across the bean fields from the world's largest epithermal system. So it's a great target. Everything is there that you would want as a geologist. Grassroots exploration. It's never been drilled. It's one of those projects where you roll the dice, and if you get it right, the company goes through the roof.
And so when should we expect to see any kind of drilling from here?
It's easy to permit, easy to drill. It's on a paved highway 20 kilometers from a big historic mining district. We will permit it within a month. We will start drilling in August. So we're going to drill deep holes because the Fresnillo system, like being one of the biggest systems in the world, it went really deep. Most of the deposits start 200 meters underground and they go to 700, 800, 900 meters deep. So we will drill deep holes. We'll set up in August and we'll drill the first 500 to 600 meter hole. It'll take 10 to 12 days. Assay turnaround in Mexico is fast. We're on a paved highway. We should have results out August, September, end of September.
So in time maybe for the Precious Metal Summit, something like that.
Yeah, in time for the next summit.
That's how we do. That's kind of good. Okay, so besides Tropico, you're still got Pan American with the joint venture in Amalia. And that's sort of taken a hiatus because Pan America is absorbing assets from Yamana with the acquisition there.
So we've got a bunch of joint ventures. We've got Amalia with Pan American. They're the number 2 silver producer in the world. We've got Plata Verde with Fresnillo. They're the number 1 silver producer in the world. So that gives you an indication of they believe that there's size. Yeah. Amalia's drilled. We've got great holes in it. It's a good system. It's big. It's the problem is Pan American's just done this merger with Yamana, 2 big mining companies merged, trying to get the mining operations together. I don't know why big companies stop exploration. They should be, but they do. Some accountant somewhere said don't spend on exploration for now. So we're a 35% JV partner in that. It's a fantastic asset. It will be a mine, I believe. And the question is, how does Radius extract maximum value for our shareholders out of it? And that remains to be seen, but that gives us a basis for our share price. Then we have the Fresnillo one. They're going to kick off drilling within the next months. And then we have the ones...
We'll have Tropico and that one.
Yeah, and then we have the ones in Guatemala too. We've got a resource in Guatemala. Our joint venture partner is Volcanic. Guatemala permitting is really slow, but the assets are good. We were hitting in the last round of drilling at the Holly Project. We were getting not wide widths, but 4 meters at 50 grams gold and 3 kilos silver. Fantastic grades, but permitting is slow there. But we also found a new orogenic system, which is really different in Guatemala. The most visible gold I've ever seen in my life. So it's risk and reward. Guatemala is politically risky, but the geology we have, the projects we have, justify being there.
Okay.
And they're paid for by our partners. So
in terms of risk, you're not raising money to do them, but you still get the news flow from them.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Low risk to Radius.
So I guess to sum up, you're capitalized based on the last private placement. You got money to drill, and you will be drilling.
Yeah, we will be drilling.
We should be expecting
results
projects by the third quarter.
Yes.
From both maybe Tropico and Plata Verde.
Yeah. And the real one is Tropico is 100% ours. And you got to remember that just down the road with the similar conditions, the same kind of geology, mag silver hit, and one of a world-class deposit in some ways. And I don't like using that term very much, but it's 30 million tons, 10 million they're mining right now, grade 650 grams silver, 2.5 gold with some lead and zinc credits. That's what we're after. And if Radius hits that, we'll all be happy.
I will be happy because I'm a shareholder and I also took part of the private placement. So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, so sitting with me, Bruce Smith, CEO of Radius Gold, and that's it from me, Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights at the Metals Investment Forum in Vancouver. So thank you for listening. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.